So again, Treasure Island, starting map. This time we have ZertoN against StriKeR. So ZertoN, I think he won 2 tournaments so far. Playing the Celts here. StriKeR did veto his Egypt. Actually, ZertoN vetoed StriKeR's Egypt as well. So StriKeR picking the Babylonian civilization. It's an interesting choice. Also looks like he went for a very nice build where he went for a fast dock, gathering a bit more wood, it seems like. Actually, I can't quite backtrack what build he did. I think he gathered a little bit of wood to build the dock and then sent 4 villagers, his 4 first villagers, to build the dock. Fish here. Now he already has enough resources for another fishing boat and enough food to keep constant villager production. I like how ZertoN scouted this out. I'm not sure if he started building the dock before this. I actually think he did, but it looks like we'll have a water battle. It's a completely different approach to this map than the previous series of Erie against Recon. So ZertoN, the #1 seed in this tournament. He won 2 previous tournaments, so got the best seed. But StriKeR is also a very good player. He's been performing really well in the previous tournaments. He's really a talented RTS player. And he may pull off something crazy this series. So ZertoN scouting out this dock. Let's see if StriKeR knows about the dock by certain he does know about it. But he is going for some stone back at home. He already has 4 villagers on stone. ZertoN is going for gold. He's going for a fast swan ship. It seems like he's going to commit to hit the water. I would also like to see a swan ship shoot into this clump of wizard villagers. His age up is a bit faster than StriKeR, who only just put down his cigarette. And there we go. Immediately queuing up a swan ship. He's making a second dock. He's going to commit really hard to kicking StriKeR off the water. StriKeR already built 2 fishing boats. He's kind of committed on the water. Looks like the first fish already ran out. Actually, it didn't. StriKeR is just saving these villagers. Doesn't want to risk them clumping up. Here we go. First swan ship crossing the map. Let's see what the follow-up is back at home. I think he's going full on these swan ships. He's actually making some fishing boats now. 4 of them. And StriKeR does not quite have the population to build a Byrene right now. He went for a town center and it looks like this ox cart got stuck. It's unfortunate. Which, what StriKeR can do is dodge a bit around with these fishing boats, but it seems like they are dead. And also it seems like it's a really good call by ZertoN not to overcommit on the water. I mean, StriKeR is just patrolling this fishing boat at this point. But it is dead, for sure. Look at this, ZertoN already had 4 fishing boats. He's getting the upgrade. StriKeR is just giving up the water, it seems like. He did get his town center up faster. And it doesn't seem like ZertoN is going for a town center himself anytime soon. He's actually making 2 production, 2 military buildings. So something we don't see that often. Playing off a single town center. But of course if you have the water you can build a lot of fishing boats. Bro Henny with the sub. Very nice. Thanks for subbing to the channel, man. Oh, and StriKeR actually building a stable. He's only now scouting the base of ZertoN. He sees 2 barracks and 1 archery range. Let's see what ZertoN scout is doing. Here it is. He does know about the stable, so very nice scouting by ZertoN. It's actually an archery range being put down in response to seeing those 2 barracks. Yeah, so the previous series was won by Recon 2-0, defeating Erie, kicking him out of the tournament, and Recon will play in the finals against the winner of this series. So 5 military buildings, not gathering any stone. It's going to be a big push coming when ZertoN gets all these resources from the docks. He's sitting at 8 fishing boats, he has the upgrade. He's going for a 3rd dock, it seems. Taking full control of the water. StriKeR spots this small army crossing the map. He's actually making a tower. He only has the 2 lancers to defend. There's already 2 spearmen, which do have the champion upgrade. And the champion upgrade for Celtic spearmen gives them even more bonus damage against cavalry. So they have a 4.4 multiplier. And already being a high DPS unit, that's just they completely melt these lancers. With some bowman support, I mean the spearmen are quite squishy. I mean you only need 3 or 4 bowmen to one-shot a spearman.
Glory to the Empire.
And another sub by the Spaniard. Thanks for all the subs, guys. Hope you're liking the tournament. I like these towers by StriKeR. He's building some gardens. He knows he has to defend. He scouts the no stone by ZertoN. He knows that ZertoN is only now going for a town center. And he built his town center in a very risky position. That is, he didn't build it close to his gold mine or close to his starting town center. So he will need these towers. Very nice wall off here. There's no spearmen coming through here. But this is a scary fort for ZertoN building. Look at this. Just pushing in and out. Doesn't really care about the towers. Will happily take this fight, I would say. Spearmen hitting the lancers. Look at how fast they are dying. He has the 3rd dock. Would like to see a merchant transport for him as well. Ooh, finding these villagers on the left side. I'm not sure if 2 towers and a town center will be enough to defend here. StriKeR is actually going to H3 behind this. Can he afford all of this, or is it too greedy? And these spearmen don't have any pierce resist. There's only 6 left now. They're dying really fast to the town center. To the tower. So StriKeR surviving, but his queue is completely empty now. He's just focusing on building units. There's a 2nd force coming in from the south. Let's see what ZertoN is doing back at home. He's kind of overgathering stone a little bit. Everyone's subbing. Optimal Acorn asks, is this the first match? This is the first match of the 2nd series. The High Garden Semifinals. StriKeR losing a lot of villagers. 43 villagers for StriKeR against 49 for ZertoN. So ZertoN taking the lead here. Of course he has the water. I think it's time to build a town center. He has a sacred grove now. Just keeping these 7 villagers idle here. Look at the population. 115 for ZertoN against the 60 for StriKeR. He's a 20 army population. He's going for chariots. It's an interesting decision. These villagers can't gather here safely. Lots of villagers deaths there, and ZertoN with a very convincing start to this game. StriKeR is doing everything he can. He's trying to snipe the druids with his towers. But I don't think a small amount of chariots will work. So these chariots do have 22 range, so they, even though they are hard countered by these slingers only have 15 range. So if you get a large enough force, if you get too close, then this happens. So if StriKeR can keep this these units alive, we'll be able to hang in, but it's not looking good. PC Nerd with the 100 bits. Thanks for all the donations, guys. As you can see on the right, we are saving up for a big tournament for when the Romans are finally coming. Well, not finally, when the Romans are coming. And that is it for this game. StriKeR forced to tap out. ZertoN looking very strong. So StriKeR can pick the next map. Let's quickly check these stats. Yeah, StriKeR losing these fishing boats here, which at that point he lost the villager lead. Keep in mind that there's also ox carts incorporated in here. Going for edge 3 and not making a lot of military at all. While ZertoN going for a very late town center. I think it did get finished near the end of the game. And seeing that one TC play is viable, if you combine it with water. ZertoN gathering over 5k more, so big difference here. A few more techs, killing a lot more units. Very well played. Let's take the score here.
Blessings upon you.
Giving Woot my energy to keep up the excellent casting. Let's go StriKeR, slay the dragon.
Thanks a lot for the donation. It seems that to place it down a bit. I'll do that some other time. I was updating the brackets so I can show you the brackets updated and all. So the winner of this goes up against Recon in a bit. Let's get straight into the next game. So StriKeR picking Coastal. Again, the map bans were Arabia by StriKeR and Bandit Canyon for ZertoN. So Coastal was not banned. Some players like this map, other players hate it. It usually turns into a water battle, because of course there's the big lake in the middle. But maybe not this time. ZertoN actually going for the sneaky barracks. It's going to be important to scout this for StriKeR. But the Norse civilization has two scouts. And one thing about this tournament that you may not have noticed, but what I like to do is make the favorite player, like the player that is favorited in the series, the blue player, and the lower seeded player, the red player, because on some maps there's an advantage for a red player, such as on this map, where the red player has the wood line on the top. So during a water battle, if you want to go back to your wood line and make another storehouse or fix some villagers, then you don't have to rotate your camera, whereas on the south side of the map you do have to do that. So slightly balancing out the odds in that regard. StriKeR scout passed by, he sees the barracks. Nice scouting. Let's see how he responds to this. He was planning to edge up fast, he's actually already edging up. So he may be able to build a barracks and get some throwing action before these first Sparabara arrive. They are pretty fast though. So again, this is best of 3. StriKeR's tournament life is on the line here. If he loses this match, he's out. Actually, StriKeR was already building a dock. Wait, I think he decided to build this dock after the Sparabara got out. Very interesting. Maybe going for a dock and a barracks. ZertoN can't deny this from going up, but of course the Sparabara don't have the highest DPS, only 9. So it will take a while to get this dock out. He's actually making a fishing boat. Spending his wood on fishing boat instead of a barracks. Interesting play. His hunt is under attack. He needs to be careful with this villager. He's working on the water. Oh, he's actually going to lose his villager. So nice win for ZertoN there. StriKeR also empty queue right now. Kind of needs to manage a lot of things at the same time. Idle villagers here. Does decide to go for that barracks. His fishing boat is hitting the Sparabara. But of course the Sparabara 40% pierce armor, so it will take a while. It will take a while. I like how StriKeR is walling this off with this house. I don't think... Actually, they will be able to deny this. Well, maybe not with 3 villagers building it. There is a throwing axeman on the way. StriKeR is spending a lot of villager seconds on trying to survive here. He does have the water, but ZertoN in the meantime made a dock. StriKeR does not know about this, and there is a galley on the way. So even though StriKeR on the land, he will be okay. Maybe some repairs of his dock, but he was not ready for this. He does have the resources for a long ship right now. Let's see if he actually decides to make one. Actually just decides to resign straight from here. So alright. That was unexpected. But very solid play by ZertoN. He's looking very strong in this tournament and well. Yeah, let's quickly go over these stats. Alright, while we sort out the next match, let's take a look at these stats. It's a very short game, so these graphs look kind of weird. Only 18 villagers, yeah, just neither player dropping any villagers. Maybe at the end, actually one of the villagers of StriKeR went down, which is...
Ahura Master bless you.
I think this flat part over here or somewhere. Not sure. StriKeR having one idle villager. Guess there's not much of the stats to analyze here for such a short game. It's just mainly about the really nice strategy for ZertoN. Hiding his barracks a little bit close to his base. And also the response by StriKeR. StriKeR thought he could maybe build one fishing boat and shoot the Sparabara. Get a barracks up himself and then defend with throwing axemen, but ZertoN's macro was just too crisp. Look at his resources. So low. Already had a second galley on the way. Even if StriKeR would be able to dance with his fishing boat and repair this dock somehow in the meantime, while building a longship, it would still be down one ship.